Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential and I'm here today to share my latest make with you. So I'll link the pattern and the fabric below, and you'll also find a link below to our weekly newsletter for a healthy dose of sewing inspiration straight to your inbox. So my latest make is my party dress for the Christmas season. Whether you're ready for it or not, it's coming, and I just thought this year I want to be really well prepared for it. And we'd had the most incredible, gorgeous fabric in, and I just knew I had to make something with it. As soon as I saw it, I loved it. And it is this gorgeous geometric print. It's got all the Missoni vibes. If anyone knows Missoni, the designer, their sort of signature look is this sort of geometric striped fabric, and it just totally reminded me of that. I've always loved it. I'm just going to go under the light a bit because I'm hoping that you'll be able to see just how beautifully it glitters and sparkles. It really is so sparkly under the lights, and I'm just hoping the camera is picking that up for you. But yeah, I just absolutely adored it as soon as I saw it. I love the colours, love everything about it. It's a jersey or knit fabric rather. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh, you know, what's that going to be like to work with? But actually, it was so well behaved, really well behaved. It lay flat, it was easy to cut out, it was easy to sew, it didn't overstretch, it got good recovery. It was a dream to work with, really, really good. And it's got all this lovely glitter and sparkle, as I say. And I knew with a pattern like this, I just wanted something super simple to really show it off, and to make my life easier with the pattern matching as well, because I decided to pattern match. If you can see, I've pattern matched across the sleeves there, and that continues round onto the back as well. And then I've pattern matched at the side seams. Although the zigzags don't continue across perfectly, they are lined up, all the lines are lined up at the side seams, so I'm really happy with that. So yeah, because it was really easy to cut out and it lay nice and flat when I was cutting it out, that made pattern matching really easy, or a lot easier. The other side of the fabric, it's got this sort of glittery feel, which means it's a little bit textured on the right side of the fabric, but the wrong side of the fabric is soft. It's soft and black, and it's a sort of semi-sheer, semi-opaque, I would call it, fabric. So I think actually you could get away with not lining this and just wearing black tights underneath it like I have. But I did actually choose to line it just because I wanted something that was comfortable, quite cosy, but would feel super dressy at the same time. So yeah, I think it sort of ticks those boxes nicely for me. A lot of the sorts of parties and Christmas celebrations and things like that I'll be going to will be at people's houses. You know, they're not going to be in fancy bars or whatever. It's going to be more like get-togethers at people's houses and that sort of thing. So I wanted something that was comfortable and easy to wear but had a bit of sparkle, and I feel like this ticks that box really nicely. If you didn't want to go for the full dress in this fabric, you could as well just make a top from it. And the pattern that I use, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute, there is a t-shirt version of this as well, and I think I've got enough left to make a t-shirt as well, and I might just do that because I thought that would be really nice to wear. I've got like a little mini skirt, black mini skirt that I could wear it with just for another look. But right now I've got my black tights on and my black knee-high boots, the block heel. And you can see the dress at the back. It's just a very simple t-shirt dress, but I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. It's got bands to finish the the sleeve, and the neckline, and I used our Ritual John Kaldor stretch jersey fabric for that, and I've used that for neckbands before. And when you put some of our stretch interfacing on the wrong side of the fabric, it just creates what looks like a super professional neckband that you would get in a ready-to-wear shop. So I'm just going to come a bit closer to the camera. Obviously we haven't got as much lighting here, but I don't know whether you can see that there, but it gives it a really lovely, neat, professional finish. And then I also use some of our seam tape, seam tape round the neckline just to stabilise that and make sure it didn't stretch out of shape. Although, like I said, I didn't ever feel worried about that with this fabric. I've washed it as well. I washed it on 30 in the washing machine. That came out fine. So although it looks like it might be you know, a bit of a scary fabric thanks to all the glitter and glitz. Actually, it washed well, it behaved brilliantly when I was cutting it out, behaved really well when I sewed it. I sewed it all on my overlocker, and I'm going to pop some links to some tutorials for you below for sewing on an overlocker, but also sewing for stretch and knit fabrics as well on a sewing machine. I'll pop some links to some tutorials below for you, along with the pattern and the fabric links as well. And I'll link the lining. The lining is our stretch lining fabric, which comes in a range of neutral colours. I just used the black because I just wanted that extra bit of coziness. But like I said, the wrong side of the fabric is actually super soft and you don't need to line it. It's just that I'd call it semi-opaque, so I thought, well, I'll just line it to make it warmer anyway. So that was my choice. But yeah, really happy with it. Feel really comfortable in it, and just love, it's just nice having something different to florals, having a bit of geo. Those of you who follow me and know me well know I love something that's got a bit of a retro feel, and I think this definitely has it for me. So yeah, that's my latest make that I'll be wearing for party season. So the pattern is the Rio Ringer t-shirt and dress pattern by True Bias. It runs up to a size 18, which is a 41.5 bust, a 39.5 waist for the t-shirt and a 40.5 waist for the dress, and a 43.5 hip for the t-shirt and a 47 hip for the dress. But it is just a super simple t-shirt and t-shirt dress pattern. I was really impressed with it. I think the fit is great on me. I have a lot of problems often with knit patterns around the armholes, and I felt like the fit was really good. I did add some width at the back armhole because I am quite broad across the back. So I just traced the armhole and then pivoted some tissue paper out from the notch just to add some width as it went higher up the armhole, and then obviously made sure that joined up with the front bodice piece as well. I just tapered that out slightly to join up with that, but really pleased with how that turned out. The instructions were really good, and you know, I made this is a very, very simple pattern. I made it a little bit more complicated because I wanted to pattern match the fabric, so I took my time with that. I cut the fabric out on a single layer so that I could make sure that the pattern was going to match up at the side seams, and then I cut the sleeves out on a single layer as well so I could do the same and just make sure they were going to match up nicely. But if I was making this dress or top in a plain fabric, my goodness, you could whip it up in a couple of hours. It was so simple and so easy. I think the sizing was good, seemed relatively on point for me, so I made a size 4 and graded to a 6. The 4 is a 34 bust, which is bang on my measurements, and then the 6 was a 29 waist and 37 hip. Hips might be a little bit bigger than 37, I would say, maybe, but yeah, I was pleased with the fit and the finish there. So yeah, really, really good pattern. Just in terms of adjustments then, I mentioned that I broadened the armhole at the back. I also did my usual high round back and forward shoulder adjustments. I'll pop links to any tutorials for those below, along with the links for the pattern and the fabric. And just remember, if you love the content we produce, especially the tutorials, the best way you can support me to keep doing that is by placing an order on our website. So do jump on and check out our website and have a look on there. But yeah, they were the only adjustments I made. And then construction wise, it was really interesting the way she suggested making it. So she suggested inserting the neckband, joining one of the shoulder seams, then inserting your neckband, then joining the other shoulder seam, which is how you do it when you use a neck binding attachment as well. I'll pop the link to the tutorial for that below as well, because I've done one on that. You can get a neck binding attachment for overlock, cover stitch machine, sorry, and that's how you construct the neckline using one of those as well. But yeah, she suggested doing that, and then you get your neckband in and then you join your second shoulder seam. But because I wanted to line this, I thought that's not going to work, because how am I then going to join that shoulder seam? So I decided to do the normal construction process, sew both the shoulder seams, and then I added my neckband in the round, and I've got loads of tips for doing that. I'm going to put a link to a tutorial below for you for that, and that worked out really well, and that just enabled me to attack the lining to the main fabric first, and then use my overlocker. I tacked it just using my sewing machine, then I used my overlocker to stitch the neckband in place, and that worked out really well. I was really happy with how that finished up. And then I attached the sleeves on the flat rather than doing it in the round. So what that means is, instead of like sewing your side seams first and then you're left with a circle hole and you have to construct your sleeve and then insert your sleeve into that hole, you don't sew the side seam first. You leave the sort of shoulder and armhole open, and then you sew your sleeve into place on the flat. And I did that, which was great because that enabled me to do this pattern matching that I've got that's running right across the sleeve and joins up at the back as well, which I was really pleased about. But then I realised after I'd done that, oh, what am I going to do about the lining at the side seams? Because obviously I'd still got what you do then when you do that method, you then sew the underarm seam and the side seam all in one. And I thought, oh, how am I going to do that with the lining? If it had been sleeveless, it would have been fine. So then what I did with the lining there was I just tacked it to the main fabric. I made sure it was lying really smooth and really flat on the table, that everything was in the right position, and then I just tacked that in place and treated it as one layer of fabric, and then I was able to just sew the underarm seam and down the side seams, and that worked out really well. I just left it loose at the bottom, the lining. I didn't join it at the bottom. I thought I'll just let that hang, and that all worked out really well. And then I did the hem using my cover stitch machine, which is, I use the Desire 3, it's a baby lock machine. We sell them on our site actually, and I did the whole thing on that machine. And yeah, it was just it was a simple sew. The sewing part was super duper simple. The more complicated bits were the pattern matching, just taking the time to cut that fabric out on the single layer, taking the time to try and match it up before I sewed it into place. And I think I did actually tack the sleeves and the side seams before joining them properly, just to make sure that I was happy with the pattern matching there. So yeah, super simple construction, really easy to make pattern. Fabric behaved really well. I was really pleased with that. So yeah, overall, just a great project. I definitely highly recommend the pattern and this fabric. And yeah, I'm just super pleased with the end result. I feel like I've got a really different dress that's glitzy, you know, feels special, feels like dressy enough to wear in the evening, but I feel really comfortable in it as well because it is a knit fabric. You know, it's got a bit of stretch to it, it's comfortable to wear. I can wear it with my tights, my thick tights and my boots, and I definitely will be rustling up more versions of that dress and top as well. Now I know how easy it is, and if I wasn't lining it next time as well and just working with the plain fabric, like I said, if you're an experienced sewer, you could whip that up in no time at all. And I just think the cut and the drafting, the fit of it is wonderful. So I hope you've enjoyed my musings today. I hope you like my sparkly new dress and you feel inspired to sew something sparkly for yourself. And if you've liked what you see today, please like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.